I stumbled over this article on the internet. It is from a webpage called grumpynerd.com, and the title is Why BNI Sucks. And this article has been written by the author in 2008, so about 10 years back. And myself, having been a BNI member for several years, I cannot even calculate exactly, maybe 4, could also be 5. Anyway, so I was in BNI for a substantial time and I have benefited a lot. I left BNI because in the first place, the product that I had for Singapore was no longer available because of changes in law, so I wanted to take some time out and develop a new one. So now let's look at this, why BNI sucks. He starts at, usually I can ferret out bullshit pretty well. Somehow I let myself get suckered into joining my local BNI chapter. As it will show later on when we analyze his post here, I believe it is rather the other way around. The local BNI chapter got suckered into Grumpy Nerd. I just checked out his webpage. The last post that he did was on January 19th, 2011. I hate open source software. Why open source sucks. So everybody sucks for this guy. And the categories that he has is beer brewing, computer shit, drinking and debaucheries, green hearts, whatever that is, my BNI networking saga, stuff that pisses me off, the depression uncategorized. From what I can see here, just from the first impression, this is a person whose life is not in order. There is a problem with alcohol here. I assume from the beer brewing and drinking and debauchery that leads maybe to depression and things that piss him off. I do not think that this person is ill in a psychological way. I believe that this person just needs to bring his life in order. So, but now back to his post, because actually I like his post very much because there's so much true things inside, but the points that he wants to criticize in BNI simply do not apply. I cannot say that at all. Let's read on. Business Networking International, BNI, is a business networking organization founded by Ivan Meissner, a well-dressed hat with all of the usual con artist plumage. I can confirm that BNI is a business networking organization and Ivan Meissner has well-dressed hair. Yes, but I would not say that this is a hair hat. And I also would not say that he is a con artist at all. Because I have read a few of his books, and what I can say is that he brings the fourth arm of marketing, the fourth communication channel, referral marketing, to the point. I guarantee that you will benefit a lot by reading his books and also trying out BNI for yourself. I have benefited a lot, and if it worked for me, it may also work for you. Let's read on. The goal of the organization is to bring a group of people representing different professions together once a week to pass sales leads to each other. Right. Very good. I want more sales leads. BNI is a worldwide organization with chapters covering most of the civilized world. Correct. I've seen chapters in Germany and in Hong Kong. Generally, any city of a moderate size will have many BNI chapters. Okay, I can speak for Singapore and for Hong Kong and also for Munich. And it is correct, these cities have many BNI's chapters each. Each chapter usually has 10 to 30 members, which meet once a week as a group. Correct. I find 10 members a bit small and 30 members an average. I would rather say that good BNI chapters have 50 plus members. 100 members is too much. The theory is that the other people in your chapter will act as your virtual sales team. Correct. If they are good and well trained and you taught them what you're doing, they will look out for opportunities for you and inform you. So joining BNI is like adding 20 to 30 salespeople to your sales staff, so the marketing says. In principle and in theory, Yes, but of the 10 or 20 or 30 other members of your chapter, only a small part is trained enough in order to provide all these leads. Many of them have never heard of marketing, and BNI is the first time in their life that they do some specific marketing activity. Many of these people don't even know what marketing is, so by watching this video here, you are far better than most of the BNI members in one given chapter. Let's continue. He says, this is of course utter and complete bullshit. Like so many other sales and marketing heavy organizations, the reality rarely lives up to the hype. This guy has understood nothing. Nothing at all. He does not know anything about marketing. I even do not know why he is there, because for most people who are in BNI and who properly train the other chapter members, it works out very well. You get a lot of leads. How many of those leads you turn into sales depends very much on yourself, because all what your other chapter members can do is they can provide you with a lead, and the lead is an initial contact with a more or less high likelihood that they have a real need that you can solve. Another problem is that very likely you did not teach them properly, so that they do not know which type of lead they can bring to you. So it is very difficult for them as well it is for you. But let's continue on with this letter. Each BNI chapter will be made up of members who represent different professions. Correct. A chapter might have an accountant, yes, a lawyer, I hope more than one lawyer, many lawyers, an advertising professional, I hope more than one advertising professional. Apart from that, this shows again, this guy has no clue at all about marketing, because advertising is only one arm of marketing. A florist, actually in 4 years I have never met any florist in BNI, but it may be that there is one florist. Each chapter is allowed to have only one person representing each profession. He wants to say that each trade can only be represented once in a chapter, and this is correct. But you can, whenever there is an overlap, word the trade that you are providing so narrowly that someone else can also join. So in my personal case, for instance, I do trademarks and patents. I would easily give up one of the two trades just for another colleague entering the chapter, so we are two. Two is always better than one, because then we run for each other and is much better than before. And no one person can belong to more than one chapter at a time. Yes, that's right. And actually, I find belonging to one chapter already quite a burden. This is because I have given up my BNI membership because I found it a burden currently at the present time. I have so many other things going on, so I would not want to be a member of two chapters. Next one. Each BNI chapter meets once a week. Correct. Weekly attendance is mandatory. He wants to say, and membership will be revoked if you miss more than a few meetings during any 1 year. Yes. And that's good, because referral marketing needs you there. And if you're not there, then it doesn't work. And it's like if you have a fax machine or an email and you switch it off, it doesn't make sense. Either you have your email and you watch it regularly, or you're simply not there. Then better leave the chapter. This is what I did, by the way. And I'm still enjoying it. But I know already that I need to go back. Next one. Show up late to a meeting and you will get dinged as well. Dinged very likely means punished or fined. And what I can say, all my chapters that I've been a member to so far, they never fined me. And to be very honest, I deeply resent this, because I would rather prefer a chapter that fines people if they do not attend properly, then just closing one eye and letting them go off. Because we all know when we join BNI, this is going to be a lot of work, but you will also see the outcome. The more you put in, the more you will get out. So if there is a management of the chapter that enforces that rule, I would be even more inclined to join such a chapter than being in a chapter that all the time is lenient with the rulings. Next one. The BNI meetings are 90 minutes long and all about structure. Every move for 90 minutes is run with military accuracy. There are a lot of little details. I'll stick to the important stuff. Yes, this guy is right. He understood that we have only limited time, and if I attend a BNI meeting, I beg the management, please run it efficiently, because this is not a purpose for my life, this is only an aid. I attend BNI, if I attend, in order to generate leads, and the less time I need to generate a specific amount of leads, the better it is. So I believe this statement here is fully off the charts. This guy should not be in BNI. Next one. 15 minutes of open networking. Yes, before the organized program begins, members will spend 15 minutes milling about talking with each other. Sounds great, right? Well, it isn't. You have 15 minutes and 30 members, so it leads to the rapid-fire exchange of rapid pleasantries and not much else. I would say this depends very much. Actually, in my chapter, what I did, I spent most of the 15 minutes with the new guests because they are much more interesting than the existing members. The new guests are potentially new leads, and if they are not leads for me, but leads for my other chapter members, I will find out what they do and find a clue of how I can relate them to one of my members. So this guy was entirely wrong here. And you can see what he writes here. Like speed dating, except with ugly people early in the morning. I'm more or less speechless. He says like speed dating. In my lifetime, I have never done a speed dating exercise. I have heard of that, and obviously this guy here might also have heard of it, or dreams of it, or whatever. But he's quite realistic. Very likely he's ugly, and he also finds the other people ugly, especially early in the morning. So there are only two ways out. In the first place, I would say swallow it. If you don't find the other people in your chapter pretty, then live with it. And if you don't like the meetings early in the morning, then go for a chapter that meets for lunch. There are some out there, and they have also their advantages and disadvantages, but I believe I'm really speechless. So he knows what he does. The easiest time to block for most of us are the early morning hours, and I understand that very well, that for the limited time that you are a member of BNI, you should get used to getting up early at least one day per week. And I seriously suspect this guy here to be an alcoholic, so it will be very difficult for this guy to get out of bed so early for a BNI meeting. He says, generally, I'll spend the entire time trying to avoid the 4 or 5 people that get on my nerves and hope someone will have brought donuts. How stupid is this remark? In the first place, he is moving in a business environment. He doesn't know that, and I have a lot of doubts about the professional approach that this guy takes. And it seems that he only wants to do business with people that do not get on his nerves. He has never had difficult clients. And if yes, then he has sacked all of them. But this is not the way that we do business. This is not life. And hoping that someone will have brought donuts means that he never brings donuts. So this guy is obviously living on the expenses of others. How low is that? Next one. Ruthless promotion of BNI propaganda. I'm speechless. What he wants to say is, of course, there's a education part in each BNI meeting, and of course, if you are the education coordinator. You take what you find at the BNI webpage, and of course this is perceived as BNI propaganda, but this is life. I mean, we all try to make it easy and to promote something. Most of the people who are in BNI have never systematically worked with marketing, so they just try to improve their business and they take whatever they find just to get the job done. Now look what he is doing. This is a great time to look at boobs, or if you have an internet enabled cell phone, look at boobs on the internet. This was in 2008. This was just 1 year after the release of the iPhone, and I'm speechless. I cannot comment on this because we have here a guy who has alcohol problems, probably. He has problems in his life, and he spends his time with looking at pornography on the internet. Next one. Sales Manager Minute. Each member will stand up and give his sales pitch to everyone else in the room. Hi, I'm Mike Hunt, and I represent the supplemental insurance slot in the group. My perfect referral would be a dumbass that is so scared of the world that he doesn't want to come out from under his bed and thinks that he needs to buy insurance for his insurance. This is simply incompetent. This person should not work in marketing at all. He does not understand why marketing is needed. Very likely this guy is a technician nature who should go back to his workshop and stay there. And if he has opened his own business, which is very likely because this was his last post 10 years ago, then he should be an employee again among other technicians, and there should be a manager overseeing them, making sure that they deliver exactly the product required to match the needs of the client for the price agreed upon and in the time agreed upon, and nothing else. Stay out of marketing, guy. Next one. Upon first blush, this seems like such a great system. It certainly sells well in the marketing literature. Joining BNI is like adding 30 salespeople to your stuff. The sad reality is that the only thing that anyone is thinking during the Sales Manager Minute is, before, what will I say during my Sales Manager Minute? And he is right. What is the Sales Manager Minute? This is the minute where everybody presents himself. This is like an advertising slot on the radio. You have 60 seconds and you want to use the 60 seconds from the first second to the last second. In larger chapters, you don't even have 60 seconds. You have 30 seconds. And all what you want is, you want to teach the people in the room and also the guests and also the chapter members, everyone here, in 30 seconds about what you're doing. Not more and not less. You don't teach them in 20 seconds, you don't teach them in 40 seconds, you teach them in 30 seconds, if 30 seconds is the time given. Actually, this sounds logical to me, and I'm wondering why I still need to explain this. So, but let's continue on in his letter. After, boy, I'm glad, boy, am I glad I'm done with my Sales Manager Minute. Yes, I believe so. This guy should never become a sales manager and not be in sales. Lock him up somewhere and let him burn his fingers with a soldering iron. Next one. They aren't listening to you, and even if they were, after 31-minute mini presentations, no one in the room retained any information anyway. Again, this highlights this guy has nothing understood at all. They are not listening to him, which I understand because this guy is obviously boring. This means for us normal salespeople that we need to change something. If you do this every week in a row of 8 weeks and still no one is listening to you, something is wrong with my presentation and I need to change it. And I've done so over 4 years. A lot. I know which presentations work and which one do not. This guy was here not even a year and then he left. No wonder he has not understood the system. Let's continue on with his letter. Further, if you have any technical detail or nuance that you need to convey, how could you do that in 1 minute? Man, there are people out there that make a living from selling goods over the radio, and they do not have 1 minute, and they sit there and they reflect and they perfect what they do just in order to increase their sales because they have 1 minute and they need to get sales up. So instead of now criticizing all this system, just be grateful that you are there and improve. Wow, this is really a pain in the neck. Then, member 10-minute presentations. Each week, a different member presents his business to the group during a short sales presentation with a question and answer session at the end. Yes, of course, you need to teach people what they are selling because they don't know you and they don't know your business as you know. Usually you do this for decades, of course, and you must explain what you're doing. Otherwise, how could they possibly tell you people who might need your services? This is called lead. Next one. This will be the longest and most horrific 10 minutes of your life. 10 solid minutes of intimate details of exterminating year-end tax filing or mortgage underwriting in exquisite detail. By minute 8, you'll want to push a rusted screwdriver through your eardrum just to make the pain stop. Oh, but now here I sympathize with this guy, because what you hear in practice confirms what he says. And even worse, if you stand up and then you say what you think, then some people will really be aggressive with you. So this is one of the weak points of BNI. The criticism is suppressed for the sake of the good relationship among the members. But I believe that there are chapters out there who provide a much better training ground. There's always a Premier League out there. I still did not find it yet, so I'm looking. But the big advantage of BNI is you're not married to your chapter. So if the chapter doesn't follow you, you just leave and then you go on to the next stage. Maybe you even set up your own chapter with what you want to enforce. Depends on all you. Next one. His letter says, the I have a fictional referral for you time. The I have time is when members will pass a business referral, share some senseless BNI anecdote to their otherwise banal unfulfilled life, introduce their visitor, bracket sucker, or on occasion blurt out, I love BNI like a mildly retarded Tourette sufferer. Okay, so what I can see here are 3 points. Or maybe 4. What he wants to say that the BNI referrals are fictional. And in truth, sometimes they are. Especially if you have members who are not genuine. These members, they have no network and actually they should not be taken up into BNI. They give you referrals that are not only lukewarm, but they are so far off the chart that they do not qualify as leads. But again, welcome to the real world. If you have ever worked in a sales team, this is exactly what you see there. So BNI is nothing else than a mirror of professional sales teams. The next point that he criticizes is some senseless BNI anecdote to their otherwise banal, unfulfilled life. What he wants to say very likely is that some member has had some lead and then a successful or less successful business with another BNI member. And of course you share that because you want to share your successes with your other members. Just to make sure that everybody understands that you do not this for fun or for some other reason, because you want to get some business out, and even the small silver linings help. Then what I never heard is I love BNI shouts. On occasion blurt out I love BNI like a mildly retarded Tourette sufferer. I have never heard such a nonsense in BNI before, but I believe that this can happen, and I would rather say that president or someone else, any member should just say what you think. If someone sits next to me and has nothing to share in the referral for you time, then he should just be silent. Otherwise, it's only stupid, as he correctly perceived. Anyway, what he says, really the referrals are the meat, everything else is just to distract away from the fact that you didn't bring a referral. The majority of BNI referrals breaks down to the following categories. Fictional outside referral. Member knows some guy they met that, in theory, could use your service, but when you contact him, isn't interested or can't afford your service. Okay, this breaks down into two categories from my perspective. First, this is wrong training. If the other person is serious, then he would only give you a referral for a service or a product that would solve the problem, or maybe be in the cloud around solving the problem. This is called a lead. And what I can say is from 10 leads, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 are successful. From 100 leads, 10, 20 or 30 are successful. And from 1,000 leads, 100, 200 or 300 are successful. And you never know before. So it is very normal that you receive such leads within BNI. If a specific member gives you wrong leads all the time, then the problem is not the member, very likely. The problem is that your definition of your preferred customer is wrong. Or your definition of the preferred customer that you have told that member does not match with what he understood of what could be your preferred customer. So I would not say that this is because of bad intention. This is just because you, as a member of BNI, you did not do the right thing when you were there. Next one. Fictional inside referral. Another member claims to want to purchase your service, but really doesn't. But it gets them off the hook for another week because they made their quota. Oh, quota. I have never heard that word in BNI as long as I was there. I have never been requested to provide a minimum number of referrals. And if that is required, I mean, it's like every KPI, key performance indicator, you would just get the people providing the key KPIs just in order to not stand out. Next one. Once free shit referral. Another member gives you a referral so that you can give them free stuff because you want to hook another BNI member up. It doesn't matter what you do or what you sell. Your fellow BNI members will try to get it from you for free. I cannot confirm this. This did not happen in the 4 or 5 years or maybe 3 years or whatever I was in BNI. I can say that I even offered to do free trademark applications, and what happened is that the people didn't know how to sell the free trademark applications. I found this very funny. Very funny. It had nothing to do with me. It was just that the product is so complicated that people even wouldn't take it if you give it out for free. That was the message that I received. Next one. The I have time is the single worst flaw in the BNI program. No, it's not. He says, here's why. There is informal pressure to show up at the meeting with something every week. My comment, if this is not your nature, you should not be in BNI. Better stay away. If you do not have fun doing this, then BNI is not a place that you will enjoy. If you see that you need to do this, and you join BNI, then this is a very normal feeling. It's a bit similar to when you go to the gym, that you don't like lifting weights, but you need to do it in order to stay fit. So this is what you accept, but there's no reason to complain about this, because this is all what BNI is about. Next sentence. The pressure to produce leads to members, creating fictional referrals or passing garbage referrals. This guy has not understood anything. Because unlike in a commission sales job, where you are judged on the quality of your sales, I'm speechless. This guy has never had a commission sales job. Because in a commission sales job, you get paid according to what you sell. So if you have bad sales, you get a bad commission. But BNI is not about sales. BNI is about creating leads. That is very different, and this guy does not understand it. Next sentence of his letter. At BNI, you are judged on the quantity of your leads and not the quality. I cannot confirm this. I believe if you produce leads, everybody is happy. If the leads are nonsense, then you could always say you didn't explain to me correctly what your business is about, so I could not provide the right lead. But if the definition of the filter of the other member matches with your filter, and then he is not able to sell to the lead that you have produced, this is not your problem. Actually, that's the problem of the person who provided the filter, meaning the other member. Not your problem. So don't fear that. Next sentence in his letter. It's just a terrible system that seems to be specifically designed to ensure poor results. Again, this guy has not understood anything. Wow, this letter is really long. We're almost through. He wants to talk about the one-to-one meetings and the BNI results, and then that's it. One-on-one meetings, BNI homework. These are 1-hour meetings between two members in a more personal setting, built as a way for you to get a deeper understanding of each other's business. Yes, normal, right? Sounds great on paper. No, it's also good in practice. In reality, these meetings are often used by your fellow members as an opportunity to sell you their wares. Of course they would, because this is the easiest to find out whether you understand what they have. What could be better than a qualified buyer held captive for an hour while they try to sell to you? Supplemental insurance, nutritional products, payroll services, financial planning, employee health coverage, etc. He clearly misunderstood the system. It is not about doing internal sales. It is all about explaining what buyers you want. Of course, if you do business internally, you understand much better how the other party works. And as far as I'm concerned, I try out the services from my chapter members on myself before I recommend them to others. But that does not mean that I just buy something that I do not need. It's just that for the one time that I need to buy something, I give this other guy in my chapter a preference because I want to find out what is the quality of the service or product that he provides. And this worked out very well so far. But let's continue on what he says. If they aren't trying to sell you something, they are trying to pump us for free advice, free services, free anything they can get. I don't even understand the grammar of this sentence. These meetings are a complete waste of time, 97% of the time. So I say, man, he has not understood anything. I set these meetings up in bars and drink and pretty. Yeah, I know that already from the rest of your webpage. You are an alcoholic, you watch porn on the internet, and you're not interested in anything else except of the very thing that you're just doing technically. Very likely you're interested in soldering transistor circuits in your living room. He continues, or drink until I don't really give a damn that they are wasting an hour of my life. What a miserable personality. Next one. BNI results. In 7 months of BNI, we have received 28 referrals. I would consider this amazing. 28 referrals. This is very good. Of these 28 referrals, we closed 3 customers. This is a closing rate of a bit more than 10%. Not bad, actually. Not bad. Could be 30%, but you must put in some work into these referrals. Which means if you expect that they give you a call and then issue the order and the check together, this is a wrong expectation. BNI doesn't work that way, like any other lead generator. You must always follow up your leads at least 9 times, better 15 times, and likelihood is very high that you close the deal on the 9th or on the 15th occasion. But what does he perceive? One didn't pay their bill. Then this is a wrong business strategy. You should always request a retainer before you deliver your service. That is called positive cash flow cycle. Never provide your services without getting the money in advance, at least partly. That helps also to clarify that your services are not available for free. Or your products, even worse. Never ship product without having the money received. He continues. One complained because they thought their bill was too high. Okay, that sounds reasonable to me, because if there is no one who complains that your bill is too high, then very likely your prices are far too low. This is a good point for engaging into discussion with your customer. You must convince them that the quality of your product and also the delivery time is far superior than that one of your competition, so that your higher price is justified. He did not see that, but he continues on. And one was a decent small job. So he was happy with one of the three, and he didn't put in any energy in order to produce a decent business. So, doing the math, we generated $1,300 in sales, minus the $540 we paid our BNI chapter, comes to $760 in revenue generated for approximately 80 hours of time invested in BNI, or $9.50 per hour. When you count that my hourly bill rate is many times more than $9.50 per hour, we've actually lost a significant amount of money by belonging to BNI. I would say this guy is seriously sick. So, in the first place, he thinks that the sales is net profit, because only then he can calculate the hourly rate for his time spent there. I have never seen a business that couldn't do that. Then the next mistake is, when you count that my hourly bill rate is many times more than $9.50 per hour, we have actually lost a significant amount of money by belonging to BNI. This goes back to the theory of opportunity costs. And I believe anyone who calculates in opportunity costs is half mentally sick. I would never do that as an entrepreneur and owner of a company. Opportunity costs are there if you want to compare whether you use your time efficiently, but what I can tell you is that BNI is worth the time because it is both education for yourself and also trying to do business in a fish tank environment. Don't think that BNI would give you sustainable business for your life, maybe unless you are an insurance agent and you can live from the insurances that you sell to 30 people. But I do not know any of such insurance agent. Next one. There are a handful of people in our BNI chapter that come out the better for their participation. Generally, they sell stuff that is so generic everyone is a possible customer. Banking, cable TV service, the mortgage guy, past good leads to the financial planner, but for the large majority, us included, it's a giant waste of time, a disruption in our workday, and a waste of money. If you visit a BNI chapter, don't submit to the relentless pressure to join the group and fill out an application on the spot. Take it home and think it over. If you're like 80% of the members in my group, you will end up giving more than you gain. And I must underline, this guy is right. For most of the people, 80% is Pareto principle. BNI is simply a waste of time because they should not be there for one or the other reason. So, but if you focus on the other 20%, BNI can be very successful for you, and not so much about creating business, but much more about improving yourself and your referral marketing capabilities.